like I kind of assumed I was pregnant, and that went on for 10 weeks straight. Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing my pregnancy video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about all the signs, symptoms, cravings, just my whole pregnancy in a video. I got a lot of requests to do this video just to kind of talk about my experience with it, how I dealt with a lot of things, and I just thought it would be interesting to share my story, and I want to hear your guys' stories, your cravings, your symptoms, how you guys found out you were pregnant. All that is super interesting to me, so if you want to comment that down below, you definitely can. So I'm going to be on my phone for most of this video just because I have everything written down of everything I want to talk about, so let's just get into the video. Signs and symptoms that I knew I was pretty pregnant, like I kind of assumed I was pregnant, was I had tender breasts, I was nauseated by some smells, and I had a missed period of 5 days late. The nauseated by smells, me and Croy Taco John's one day. It's probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks before I found out I was pregnant. He got the donut bites that have the icing, and the smell of the icing just made me so nauseous. I felt like I was going to throw up, and I couldn't even be by it. I had to walk away from it. So I kind of knew something was fishy. And then I also kind of detected that probably pregnant because my boobs were very tender. They usually never are. And I obviously had a missed period of 5 days late, which is pretty unusual for me. So getting into taking the test and actually finding out that we were pregnant is I believe I worked until 9 o'clock that night and Croy worked until 9:30. So we were planning on taking the test. We had talked about it throughout the day. 5th day of my period being late, and so I had some pregnancy tests and we're like, let's just take him when we both get home. So I made supper while I was waiting for him. He got home and took a shower, and I could not wait to take the test, like for him to get out of the shower. So I took the test, turned it over, let it set the 3 minutes or however long, and he was still in the shower when the time was up. And so I looked at it, showed him, realized that there was a bright red line saying that I was pregnant, and I kind of like fell onto the toilet, not really like fainting, but like kind of fainting onto the toilet. I was just like in shock. So right after that, I go, I need to call Julie. Julie's my best friend. And so I called her, we talked. Me and Corey just kind of talked about things that night. I was super excited. The next day I called my OBGYN and set up all my appointments. It's not like an extravagant story, but that's our story and how we found out that we were pregnant. So I thought I would share with you guys the pregnancy tests. I don't know if you're going to be able to see them just because of the focusing, but this was the first one that I took. It was the first response, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's definitely 2 bright red lines. They're not as bright as they were just because they've been sitting in my nightstand for almost a year. I did take 2. I took a clear blue. This one isn't as noticeable, but there's definitely a plus sign right there. You're not going to be able to see it, I bet. But I took 2 different brands because I read that you should do that. I don't know if it's true, but I did. They both told me I was pregnant, so. Alright, so after I found out I was pregnant, I was about 4.5 weeks. From week 4 to week 7, everything was amazing. I felt amazing. I didn't feel sick. I was like, this is a breeze. I don't get what people are talking about. They feel sick. They have the morning sickness. Like, what? I did have 2 symptoms. I just had the tender breasts, and I was extremely thirsty. I think I drank about 2 liters of water a day. And I drink a lot of water, but that's a lot of water for me to drink. Then I hit week 7 and everything went downhill for me. I was so sick. I was throwing up. I was nauseous 24/7. I had headaches. It was so bad. I missed so much work. I couldn't stand. I got hot flashes. I felt like I was gonna pass out. It was so bad. And that went on for 10 weeks straight. I was also extremely tired. I constantly was just never awake. I just wanted to be in bed. It was so hard for me to be up and at work and doing something because all I wanted to do was sleep. My cravings around this time were sour candy, candy in general, and Dr. Pepper. So at 8 weeks I had my ultrasound, and it was my very first ultrasound. I was expecting a tummy ultrasound. No, 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 no. You have a vaginal ultrasound when you are so early because the tummy one can't detect a baby. It has to be vaginally. So I talked with my doctor. We, did a little checkup and everything. And then I had my mom, Croy's mom, and my best friend Julie in the room while the ultrasound was going on. And I got to hear the baby's heart rate. I think it was around 170-ish. They always say if it's above like 140, that's usually like a girl. I guess that's what the wives' tales say. So instantly I was like, oh my gosh, it's a girl. I do have my ultrasound photo to show you guys from that day. This is one of them. This one you can see like the actual umbilical cord, and then that's how tiny she was. I believe at like 8 weeks you're like as big as a raspberry or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that was the first time I saw my little baby. So from week 18 to 25 were a little bit better. I wasn't as sick, but I was still so tired. I constantly just wanted to sleep. I would sleep for like 12 to 14 hours a day. I was only nauseous when I first woke up if I didn't have anything to eat right away. So I wasn't constantly sick through the whole day like I was in those 10 weeks prior. But at this time I was getting a lot more uncomfortable and just feeling a lot of pressure. I felt her kick around 20 weeks. I thought it was Sage at first because she was laying on top of me, but then Sage got off of me and then I felt it again. So I felt her around 20 weeks kick me for the first time. Then at 20 weeks I had my anatomy ultrasound. So this was the last time I actually saw the baby until she was born. And I'm saying she because obviously I know it's a girl now, but at this time I did not know it was a girl. The anatomy ultrasound took about 30 minutes. It wasn't that long. Everyone was saying it's going to be like super long, but it went really quick, really fast, and it was still very thorough. I will show you some of the ultrasound photos from the anatomy scan. So this one is of her face. It's the 3D ultrasound, and I have another one of the similar in a picture frame, but that's her hand, her face, her shoulder. I think this is her foot or something right there. And then I have all of these. It's like, that's like her skull. I don't know what that is. This is the heartbeat. I believe at the anatomy scan it was like 160 or like 150 around there. This is her little leg. This is her little foot. And then this is another of the 3D. And then this one. And then this was her like profile. So at the 20 weeks, we obviously found out the gender, but we had the nurse put it in an envelope because we were doing a gender reveal. So I'm actually going to insert the video of us finding out that it was a girl right here. So I instantly thought it was a girl just because of the signs. I was super sick. The heart rate was always above 140 every time I went to the doctor. Just like certain little things. And I just felt it in my gut that it was a girl. But I will also insert some pictures of the party that we had. From weeks 26 to 28 were very, very bad for me. I actually ended up in the ER 3 times. One of those times I did end up in labor and delivery. I thought something was wrong with the baby. I was having this severe pain on my right side, like upper abdomen, but they tried to rule out like gallbladder, they tried to rule out pancreas, they ruled out obviously like some other things. Then I kept constantly going back to the ER. The second time I went back to the ER, they finally did an ultrasound on that area and they found out that it was my gallbladder that was an issue, and I had like a thick sludge in there with gallstones. At this time, I had about 12 weeks left and they wanted to keep my gallbladder in until after I gave birth. Then about 3 days later, I went back to the ER because I was in so much pain. I was crying, I couldn't work. It was tremendous pain. One of the surgeons heard what was going on and he decided that he was actually going to do the surgery on me. So I did have my gallbladder removed at 27 weeks, I believe. So I had surgery while I was pregnant. It was very crazy. I did have some contractions at the time that after I had the surgery, so they kept me monitored. I was in the hospital for a night after that. And then about 3 days after that, I did actually start having contractions, like full-on contractions at about 27.5 weeks. I went back into labor and delivery and they actually gave me the shot to stop your contractions, and that it actually helped. So I had no contractions the rest of my pregnancy until my labor. I did actually have to reduce my hours after my gallbladder surgery, so I was not working full-time anymore. I was only working part-time, but I couldn't be on my feet for more than 6 hours. So at this time, my cravings were chocolate, French fries, and fruit snacks. So from weeks 29 to 35, I was extremely uncomfortable and extremely tired, and that's pretty much it. Around this time is when the coronavirus started, so a lot of my appointments were just me. Corey couldn't go to them, and it was just kind of getting scary at this time. I was out of work around 35 to 36 weeks, so I was just at home. So from 36 weeks to 39 weeks, Emerson was sitting on my sciatic nerve. So for 3 weeks, I was in constant pain. My leg was in constant pain. It was torturous. I was at that point where, like, get this baby out of me. I want her out of me. I did so much. I did so much walking. I did so much cleaning around the house to try to induce labor, and nothing worked. So yeah, that is my pregnancy story. I'm going to have my labor and delivery story up after this, so you can see kind of what happened after the sciatic nerve. I hope you guys enjoyed everything that I got to talk about, my whole pregnancy. It was a whirlwind of emotions. It was a whirlwind of everything. I can't believe that I actually got to experience this. It was truly a magical thing, and I'm so blessed to have gotten a baby girl out of it. Stay tuned for my labor and delivery story if you want to know what happened with all of that. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you are not, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye guys!